Hey YouTube, welcome to the Subprime to Prime YouTube channel. Here our focus is to get you from subprime to prime, and that all starts with knowing where you want to go on your financial journey. This is for information and educational purposes only, and not intended to be financial or legal advice. Alright, let's get into it. In this video we're going to talk about how to plan a trip if you have limited financial resources. Okay, so planning a trip when you have limited resources can still lead to an exciting and memorable adventure, with the right approach and careful planning. And then here's kind of a comprehensive list or guide to help you figure out a way to make it happen even if you're on a tight budget. Alright, so first off, what we're going to do is we're going to set a clear budget. You have to actually know what everything is going to cost you and what the trip entails completely, so that we know where we stand and where we can start from. Now, the trip doesn't have to be like super soon, but you can plan out a really awesome trip, and it might be a year out or maybe two, depending on whether you're going on like a cruise, or you're going to fly somewhere in the United States, and cost-friendly countries. So we want to determine our total budget for the trip, including the transportation, accommodations, food, and activities, and in any unexpected expenses that you might incur along the way. And then we want to try to use maybe a budgeting app or some sort of spreadsheet to track the expenses and stay within the limits, so that we don't incur or go left on our finite number that we're planning on using for the trip. So choose your destination wisely, and then opt for free or less expensive destinations where your money will go a little further, and consider countries and cities known for being budget friendly. Okay, and then research off-peak seasons, when prices for flights and accommodations are, much lower than, say, traveling in the middle of summer, when we know everybody travels at that time, or mostly everybody. And then the holiday travel season, you want to be mindful of that, because ticket prices soar, and things are just always a little bit more expensive on your, in your planning process. And then another thing that people often do is they try to have flexible travel dates within the time frame that they want to go. And being flexible helps you get the best deals, flights, and all accommodations that you would normally want to use when you go out on a super cool vacation. Now, budget accommodations. Look into hotels and budget hotels, or even camping sites that serve as affordable lodging. And if you consider using platforms like Airbnb for shared accommodation, or some kind of short-term room rentals, those work out pretty well too, as opposed to staying in a hotel. And then you get the amenities of being able to cook for your family instead of having to eat out every day. And there's just all these little cost-saving things that you want to be mindful of when you're out on your quest for searching for accommodations. So affordable transportation is another area. So you want to compare prices for flights, buses, trains, and car rentals, in case you run into a situation where you're going hiking, but the area is somewhere that needs to be driven to initially, and then maybe you can walk back or hike back, just as an example. And then you want to consider the cheapest mode of travel. So if you're traveling within the United States, it's likely going to be cheaper to take the train than it is a plane, although sometimes train tickets can be just as much as plane tickets, so just be mindful there. And then also consider staying with friends and family when you're looking at budget accommodations. Sometimes that's actually a pretty helpful way to save hundreds of dollars on your trip if you're just able to stay with someone you know or a family member. And then economical eating. As we were talking about with Airbnbs and house and room rentals, you can always cook for yourself instead of eating out for each meal, which can be super costly, especially when you're going to really populous destinations. Okay, and then try to eat like a local. Like they have street food and food trucks and things like that, where the prices are often more cheaper than the touristy, restaurant hotspots. Okay, and then always look for free and cheap activities. Search free attractions such as museums, parks, and historical sites, so you don't have to, spend a ton of money on the places that everybody goes to that are usually super costly. I know, like, if you're planning on a trip to an amusement park, you want to budget accordingly, because whenever you eat inside the park, those prices are usually, 40-50% more than the market price for those same items that you would normally eat. And travel insurance, even on a tight budget, don't skip travel insurance, because typically if a flight's canceled due to weather or some other condition or some unforeseen emergency happens, if you have the travel insurance, that will ensure that you will still be able to utilize that particular travel mode at some later date when the emergency is cleared up or whatnot. And then you can save money before you go. Typically, if you're going to go on a vacation and you're on a super tight budget, you're going to want to build up to that amount. So saving over time helps, cut, unnecessary expenses in your daily life so that you can plan for your trip. And then consider taking on extra, hours at work or selling items you no longer need for additional travel funds. All right. And then we're going to use technology and like travel apps for, the cheapest hotel stays, the cheapest flights, and rental cars and things like that. All right. And then look for opportunities where you can actually work remotely so you can earn while you travel. I know that kind of sounds a little bit daunting because you're supposed to be having fun, but sometimes things only take a couple of hours to handle, and plus you're getting paid to do so, so why not? Well, everybody's sleeping, get up early or stay up a little later to handle those particular work-related items. So basically, stay informed and stay flexible while you're saving up for your travel. And then even on a tight budget, you can go to just about any place that you want to, so long as you save up appropriately for it. So thank you. Please like and subscribe, and come on over to our VIP school platform on Subprime to Prime, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.